So I did think it was interesting that they did report that sales for the PlayStation and Xbox consoles are kind of tanking because of this recent price stuff. Because I feel like that's one thing we've been kind of in this like
Pocket of
inflation bubble everybody's been talking about for the past 5 years, and everybody kind of like if you go on TikTok, everybody Gen Z our age range is like everything's unaffordable. We can't afford anything, but you always see people with
owning the stuff.
PS5s, and fancy consoles and fancy tech, and everything. More than I felt like you saw whenever we were growing up, even.
Yep.
Like I can't even imagine having $1,000 like game console growing up. Like
Yeah.
that's just unfathomable to me. So it is interesting to see that it is actually having an effect, and so it kind of makes it interesting to see like where that's gonna progress.
I feel like history has a habit of repeating itself. I feel like it's very cyclical. If you think about the first personal computers that came out and the first, like some of the first consoles and how crazily priced they were
Yeah.
for their, generation of time, I feel like we're back in that generation of time. So I do feel like we will eventually see prices come back down, hopefully.
Yeah.
It might take a depression, it might take a war, it might take a, but I feel like we'll see it come down. And I'm not saying it's justified. I'm not saying I want us to get involved in another war or another depression or something, but I think it's just par for the course.
And it's probably a quality going down, price going up thing too. It's
Yeah.
a lot easier for people to not even have the desire to go spend their $80 on
Yeah.
a game. But
And I think we've been in that, had that feeling for a while now. Because I
Yeah.
mean, I said it before and I'll say it again. I probably wouldn't spend. There are very few games I would spend that much money on.
dude, whenever I go to like look at the Steam sales, I go in it with the perspective of I need to find something to buy
Yeah.
versus like okay, I need to limit myself on not buying I'm always like, okay, I've already played that, I already own that, I already played that, I already own that. There's never like a ton of
Yeah,
new
yeah.
interesting stuff that kind of grabs my interest, at least mainstream wise. I feel like RPGs have like so carried. I feel like certain genres have been carrying gaming for a little while. Indie is one of them. RPGs are one of them. JRPGs.
I just feel like they don't get old. Like you would think the whole turn-based, system would get old, but
Well, I feel like they all do it in a very different way.
That's
So,
true.
it's always a different kind of art style, story, even, how the combat works to begin
Yeah.
with is usually different. So they all kind of stand apart. So 50 hours in one of them doesn't feel like 50 hours in a
Yeah.
different one. I mean, like, look at Final Fantasy VII. It's not even turn-based anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
it's borderline action. But,
I will say I guess I could mention it now that we're kind of naturally going in this direction, but I started playing. I never played Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, so I went back and played it just because it's in my family share, and I'm kind of impressed with how. I mean, I've always heard it was a good game, good action RPG, but I'm having a lot of fun with it, more than I thought I would.
yeah.
I feel like a lot of games nowadays, it's hard for me to sit down and lock in, but that makes you want to sit down and lock in.
Yeah, I feel like most games you start and then abandon after a few hours because I always see you hopping around on
Between different games, yeah.
And I'm like, you never went back and finished
Yeah.
these games.
Yeah, but this one has my attention now for hopefully a couple months.
What's funny about that game is that on my Steam wish list, I have it automatically sorted by price or sale, like biggest sale to lowest. So like anytime I go to my Steam wish list, it's automatically sorted by whatever's on sale for the biggest discount.
Yeah.
And like every single time I ever check it throughout the year, Dragon's Dogma is always at the top with like 95% off. That game is
Yeah.
like permanently on sale for like $3.
Yeah.
But I've always heard it was a great game. I've meant to pick it up and try it, but
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely tell it's a product of its time because I think it was mid 2010s when it came out, so that's still like the 360 PS3 era, right?
yeah. I think it
Right.
was like probably early 2000s
Okay.
or 2010s. I mean,
Okay, I always get confused nowadays between like the PS3, PS4 era,
yeah.
just because I think it was so closely related.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe
Also,
because we were
too,
so young.
it's interesting because, and maybe it is just no, I don't think it's an our perspective thing. I feel like because that's the seventh generation, right? It's the 360, PS3, and Wii. That's the seventh. Yeah, it's the seventh generation. I feel like the seventh generation almost has like two parts of it. Like I feel like because the 360 I want to say came out in 2006. I feel like 2006 to 2010 360 versus 2010 to 2014.
Yeah.
360 was like two entirely different things.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the menu, like Xbox Live, was like largely enhanced between those two times. The PS3, I mean, clearly had, like a redesign, a price difference. I feel like they were like changing a lot of stuff during that generation to where, in my mind, I always like have two different versions of the seventh gen.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I can see where, specifically thinking between PS3, PS4, and even PS5, how just the layouts of the menu, it seemed like we had a drastic change from PS3 to PS4, and then from PS4 to PS5.
It's all it's exactly the same basically. Yeah. Because like I remember we got a 360 when it came out, around basically when it launched, and we had it for about a year. So this would have been like 2006, 2007, and then it got Red Ring of Death. We got rid of it. And it wasn't until 2013 or 2012, 2013 that I got an Xbox 360 again. And like
and the menu was probably
I mean, it felt like two separate consoles, because it was entirely redesigned. It didn't have the red ring anymore. The controller was designed differently. The menu was just unrecognizable. How much there was on Xbox Live and the store and everything, all of that was evolved from its inception. I mean, it really does feel like two separate consoles in the same generation. It's crazy to think about.
It's very consumerist to me, but I do think it was so cool how they had the Microsoft points, and that's how you'd buy stuff in the store.
Yeah, dude, I miss Wii Shop points.
Oh yeah.
I don't like that the eShop has a $1 number. I miss when I would go to the store and have to convert. Well, I think it was like 100 points were $1, so it was easy to convert. But yeah, you would go and buy like 2,000 Wii Shop points instead of $20.
I'm sure the reason they did it now is because you probably have to buy like 60,000 worth of points just to...
It's also confusing. A little bit. One thing that's interesting, I was about to say something and I completely forgot what it was. Oh no, I was gonna say, did you ever do or have, it was like Club Nintendo? As when you were younger, basically like when you bought a game, it would have this like insert in it, a Nintendo game, and if you redeemed the code, you would get Club Nintendo points, and you could get yearly rewards using those Club Nintendo points.
I will say not me, but my dad, and my dad still uses Club Nintendo.
So it's still a thing. That's what I was gonna ask. I didn't know it was still a thing.
I mean, unless it's changed in the last 2 or 3 years, but because I can remember him mentioning something and not too. No, because he ordered he got to use some of those points to order one of those N64 Switch controllers. So.
Okay.
So yeah, no, it's definitely.
I'm guessing
still a thing.
they give it to you whenever you buy stuff on the eShop. That's how they sync it, because I know like it doesn't come with codes anymore. I don't think.
Yeah, considering like physical copies are very.
Well, they're empty. I think the Switch cases are just. There's nothing inside of them, like a manual or anything.
Are they really? Dang, that's sad.
Yeah, it's literally just the case, open it, cartridge. There's nothing else in it.
I miss little booklets. I used to, whenever I'd get a new game, I'd used to open up immediately, read the booklet on the way back home.
Yeah.